I'm looking for Cox. Where is Cox? Guys, I need Cox. Paul, where is Cox?
Are you looking for Dewey Cox?
Yes, I'm looking for a massive amount of Cox.
He's waiting backstage. Did you know Dewey Cox has to think about his entire life before he goes live on stage? And you know who else does too?
Who is that? You wonderful human being.
Scotty and Jerry from the Bombad Cast!
こんにちは。ボンバットファミリーと私たちのライブ放送へようこそ。私たちはあなたの視聴とリスニングの喜びのための素晴らしいショーを持っています。今あなたのホストスコッティ・ジェイロとジェリー・ケーブルにステイ・ボンバードを楽しんで覚えておいてください。
滲んだ星を数えて思い出す
夏の日
一人ぼっちの夜
幸せは
この惑星の子供たちと呼ばれる存在には
おはようございます。
超授業でありにゃそう
全身でぶつかっていかなくてはならない。
もしよかったら付き合って
声が小さい。
ただ
教師としてあるまじきそういう
この惑星の教育は加減が難しい。
でも君はいい教師になる。
缶コーヒーのボスレインボーマウンテン。
Welcome to the Digibowl on Fox Kids with your host, Terry Bradshaw.
Look at me. I get to host the first Digibowl. The first. Super Bowls, they come and go. But the Digibowl, now that's exciting stuff. But can't do it alone, so luckily I have two authentic Digi-Destins, Izzy and Kari, helping me. First, let's check in with my sideline correspondent, Kari. Maybe she can tell us what in the heck a Digibowl is.
Welcome to the Bombad Cast. The rabbits.
hero. Walk bold, hard. That's my creed, my code. Been scored and slandered and ridiculed too. I had struggles every day my whole life through. Seen my share of words that a girl can give. I still got a dream and a burning rage to live. Walk hard, hard. When they say you're all done, walk bold, hard. They say you're not the one. I've been told it time and time again that you're always gonna lose and you're never gonna win. You gotta keep that vision in your mind's eye when you stand on top of a mountain. Walk hard.
Baby gonna make you hard.
Jerry, we have to talk about this.
Scotty.
Elephant in the room. Elephant in the room. This is Star Wars adjacent. It's written by Lawrence Kasdan's son, who wrote Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and Solo. This is Star Wars adjacent. Nathan, thank you for coming to the chat. Eli, glad to see you here. Brennan, glad to see you. Brennan, I just did a recording about midichlorians. It'll be airing tomorrow, I'm pretty sure.
Lovely.
And of course, Brian, the one and only Brian Fry. Very happy to have all of you here. Not many people tuning in tonight. That's okay. We knew that would happen because this movie is an underrated.
Because no one appreciates true art.
Genuinely.
No one appreciates art
No
or
one.
artists within their generation. It is after they're dead and in the ground and eaten by worms that people finally go, oh, those guys had some nice ideas.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to talk about Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story tonight.
I want to say this. Jerry and I have talked to this movie for like 5 years now. We've watched it together before.
This is one of the movies we bonded over because we both loved it and came together and just it's been one of the crown jewel films. I say is this. There's two big crown jewel films.
I know there's two ones.
It's this one, and you want to say the other one? I was gonna say the other one is what?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes, it is.
Jerry and I have watched these movies like more than once together, which is so weird because
Scotty once called me. I think it was like right at the end of like at the beginning of my divorce or something. Like I was watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and you were like, "What part are you at? Like, what's the timestamp?" And I told you, and you turned it on and called me, and we just talked watching this movie.
The whole thing. It's a beautiful moment.
It was wonderful.
We've had a lot of opportunity to hang out, obviously, and we've been doing this for 6 years. I mentioned that in my midichlorian script that I'm working on, that this has been my collaborator for 6 years, and I can't thank him enough because, we've talked about a lot of stuff. You can go back and listen to a lot of conversations, but this genuinely is something that we've never actually approached together. We've always talked about big franchise things. We've had a couple of offshoots, but this is the one that we have bonded over deeply. And I couldn't tell you what it is about this movie that works so well. I think because it takes itself so seriously. It's just like this. It's just like this here.
Right. It's so serious in its insincerity, right? Like it's making fun of this. It's making fun of the sincerity of those big moments from those movies. They've specifically Walk the Line, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull up Brian's comment here. I found Walk Hard hilarious. James Dawn of the Jedi Mangold, director of Walk the Line.
He's watched this movie, which is so great. But also, it's
incredible.
It
came out 2 years after, right, or like a year after. So it's like I think it was 2005 and then 2007. Walk Hard.
Yes. And then in between that was Ray. Which is also ripping on Ray. And look, Eric, no, you're not too black enough. I'll tell you why. Because if it wasn't for Dewey Cox, black music would not be popular like it is today. If it wasn't him singing that song at the club, at the black club, I can't sing the lyrics. Everybody loves the man.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
loves the man.
There's a this is like maybe this is maybe the last great parody movie.
Yes, because it didn't. Oh my god, it doesn't. So
it wasn't like, oh, we're doing epic movie or we're doing Meet the Spartans. This is like legitimately like it's like to me on the same level as Airplane.
Yes, but the thing with this movie is that most people don't realize. Well, I mean, not that they don't realize that it's not acknowledged enough. It is shot like a biopic epic. They do not stay. The lighting is incredible. The cinematography is actually incredible in this movie. They
shot this entire movie during golden hour. It looks like.
I mean, it's like a beautiful movie.
6 p.m. in July is what it looks like. The whole movie.
Even the aesthetic of it all, like they're in real theaters. They're like, it's not.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, I love the Weird Al parody movie. That was great, but part of that felt. I don't know. It didn't.
Well, that was more of a biopic, so it was a parody of his own story, which I thought was brilliant. That's the last great. I wouldn't even call that necessarily a parody, even though it kind of is. That's one of the best comedies in recent years, I believe, personally.
What did Brian say? It was so much. Yes. Yeah. It didn't have to be this good in terms of story and everything. And the funny thing is, this movie is one of those dream movies of mine where like they had all these scenes planned out to me before they had a through line of the script. Because there's so many scenes that are so biopic related, but like you could have thrown this scene in the Johnny Cash movie and it would have just been as funny and as good. But it's just the way they thread it all together and like the classic like downfall of a musician, gets this little bit of fame, gets married real young, and then like
shoots to the top, and then hits rock bottom like insanely hard.
Back up,
and then ends like with them like coming to terms with all of that. And listen, okay, Eric bringing up Tropic that's not a spoof. That is a straight up comedy. That is a great comedy. I do really love Tropic Thunder is another one of our favorites amongst absolutely. But this just it really does hit that spoof territory. And I watched last night, Walk the Line and Walk Hard back to back.
You did?
I watched them back to back. I did a double feature last night after work. I cooked my pasta. I took a shower after work. I cooked my pasta, and I watched these films back to back. And
that's crazy.
I have to tell you, when I was talking to Scotty, I was before we started here, we were talking about like the soup can telephone stuff. That's from Walk the Line, and I was thinking, oh, that was from Walk Hard because they kind of just like meshed in my brain after last night, and so and you see how much of a like they were really trying to capture that moment of you had Ray as well. It is a spoof on all musical biopics.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But it is specifically Walk the Line. It is specifically Walk the Line that like really kind of made this, I think,
to me,
happen.
The musicality of Dewey Cox is a little bit more Roy Orbison than it is Johnny Cash, which I think is cool. So you can make a fictional character and then you can have them inhabit a world that already exists, making references to musicians that already exist. And that's what gives it a really beautiful through line. Because like, they mentioned David Bowie in this movie. They mentioned a ton of musicians, and like there's some pretty interesting lore in this that I didn't realize until watching it. The years as everything was going on and what was happening in those years. And, let us stand up for the midget man. Like that one is one of my favorites. It's so funny.
That whole one. Let me hold you, little man.
That's
it's just Going through like here we go. It didn't mock, it was reverent irreverence.
It was, perfect way to put it.
And they take this character that is necessary for all intents and purposes is supposed to be a Johnny Cash like type, and bring him through all these eras of music, but have him kind of almost invent every kind of music, but also just go through because like he even invents punk rock when he's like going through the really drug fueled stage and stuff. And so it's a beautiful, I don't know, it's a love letter to music, but also like very like this is the kind of jokes that the musicians are going to be making behind this. You know what I mean? It's it's like here we're gonna do this, like we love music and stuff, but we're gonna be like we're just gonna make all the jokes we possibly can.
So, and you got to think about it too, like at the time where you were saying earlier, movies like Ray and Walk the Line were all huge movies, and we even got some recently with the same director, A Complete Unknown for Bob Dylan, which is a great biopic.
Which I still have to see. I'm so
you're gonna love it.
Like to see that.
They have all these classic tropes in these biopic movies of like the threshold they cross that makes them the troubled musician that they are. And like it plays on all those things, but it also plays on the idea that, these characters had to go through these epic moments to be who they are. But like Dewey Cox, and it's told, look, if for all intents and purposes, this movie is told in a serious light. The story is a serious story, but it's all masked in humor. But it also exploits the absurdity of some of these decisions. And like, there's parts of it that like are overlooked. Like Dewey Cox is a different little sister in like every scene. It's not the same kid. And like,
I did not notice this.
Watch that next time.
I gotta watch it. Yeah.
There's like 4 different kids in these shots, and like Nate is the only one that made an impact on him. And this happens a lot in biopics where like you're introduced to a character, but you don't know much about them. You just hear their name referenced or whatever, and they're real people in real life. But I was watching this with a more analytical eye. Like I'll show the audience. These are my notes. Like I actually wrote a ton of notes because I've never watched this movie from a let's talk about it perspective. I've always joked about some of the one-liners, and I truly the machete fight is just the greatest,
Ain't nothing wrong with a little machete fighting.
But like it's classic, like the movie in Ray. I don't know if have ever seen Ray before, but in Ray, the reason why Ray Charles goes blind is because they used some sort of borax bleach combo in like the tub that they were soaking the clothes in to clean the clothes outside I guess it would consider it a ghetto or a slum. And Ray's little brother couldn't swim and he falls in the tub face first, and Ray didn't know how to save him, and Ray's little brother drowns in front of his eyes. It's like super intense, the opening scene in the movie. And like I remember being a child, being in like maybe 5th grade watching this, like, God, this is heavy. But like the Dewey Cox version of it is so much more real, of like, not real, I'm sorry, is so much a play on it, right? And the best
I mean, it's
one,
like what is it like the in Walk the Line, it's like they're walking out in the, it's like children in 1940 something. It's really like so close to that because they're out and like they're playing around, and then they go and he's cutting wood with a buzzsaw at like at 10 years old.
I forgot about
his brother. And he gets and his brother tells him, go ahead, go fishing and stuff. And then like later his dad comes and picks him up, and his brother had an accident and like basically sawed himself into his chest into, which is awful and horrific. And because there's the conditions that we should really get rid of OSHA, because like because children really need to work buzzsaws.
So wait, what's the line when he finally cuts Nate in half? What does Dewey say? What does Nate say? What does Nate say?
Oh, Nate, I'm cutting half real bad, Dewey. I'm cutting half. Yeah, because he goes, well, he's like, you're prepared to meet your maker, and he swings back because they have the like sheaths on, and the sheath comes off, and he just like straight up goes through him like butter.
And then the shot of him falling to the side and his legs,
the legs stay up. Yeah, absolutely.
No. The best line is from their dad after. This is what I wrote down. You can quote it. I know you want to quote it.
Go ahead. Was it
where he goes, I'm sorry. And he's telling him, and the doctors The doctors tell him, and he's like, it appears that, you know, it's a really bad case of being cut in half, and we lost
This is
Nate.
the worst case of cut in half I've ever seen.
And then what is
I wasn't able to attach the bottom half. I wasn't able to reattach the bottom half to his top half.
Speak English, Doc. We ain't scientists.
He's gone.
And then they all have the wailing and crying.
Yeah,
Wrong kid died.
Wrong kid died. And I love that. But by the way, before they do the machete fight, I love that they're doing so many dangerous things in this. Not in Walk the Line. And again, and I am getting them mixed up.
That's beautiful.
Because I got the dads mixed up. I thought that the dad from Walk the Line was the dad in Dewey Cox, and I thought it was like, is he? And then he showed up at Walk the Line. I was like, wait, is he in both movies? And I realized that it was not him in Walk Hard.
Amazing.
So, but yeah, no. Anyway, you continue with what you were going.
Well,
on. I'm just getting confused.
I love the beat that it goes from Nate's dad.
Raymond J. Perry. Sorry, Raymond J. Perry plays the
go.
dad in Dewey Cox.
Yes.
And then it's who is it in Walk the Line? It is.
I haven't seen Walk the Line forever.
It's Robert Patrick. It's Robert Patrick in Walk the Line.
So the part where the transition of that scene to the next scene is just so freaking flawless. It's we'll go down to the corner store and get us a candle. We're gonna light a candle tonight for Nate.
We're gonna light us a candle tonight.
But when he gets there and he sees the blues musician. Okay, fun fact: I did some research on this guy. His name was Honey Boy Edwards. I've actually listened to one of his songs before. He is a true Mississippi Delta blues musician through and through. Right. He was born in 1915 and he lived to 2011. He lived to be Dude, he lived to be, what would that be? Like 92? More than 90. No, he was 92 in the movie. 90s. He was 92 in this movie, so he would have been like 96 or 90.
He was pushing 100.
Yeah, dude.
Pushing 100.
And he was great. He played guitar for that one moment. But I love this, and it gives me more context. I don't know if you know when your grandmothers were born, Jerry. My grandmother was born in 1938. Dewey Cox was born in 39. So like I'm kind of doing the age thing in my head. Like my grandma was like bedbound because she had a stroke. So would Dewey Cox be in that same exact, type of way if he didn't die on stage? You know what I mean? Like I just there's
right. If he didn't, the real Dewey Cox though, the real Dewey Cox,
the real Dewey Cox,
which we see at the end,
of
the movie. Yes, yeah. No, and I mean, so first off, shout out to famous character actor Margot Martindale, who plays who plays his mother.
Oh, yes.
She's in everything. Margot Martindale is, I think there's a really funny, was it BoJack Horseman where they like go on there's some show where they like really like harp on Margot Martindale and how awesome she is.
I don't know. Okay.
But I do love her. She is incredible in everything she's in. But just that, I just have to shout out again her because like that, again, that we're going to light us a candle tonight. It's just the earnestness with which she says it, but the ridiculousness of why the fuck are you lighting a candle? Right. It's like we're so poor. They're so poor in the 1940s and stuff like that it's like they're grabbing the candle that we're going to light a candle tonight.
So strange. I love it. I do love it. But I also love that
the randomness was great. I miss random humor like that.
I love that, the next time jump, Dewey is a 14-year-old and it's such a great cut. It's such a great
by John C. Reilly.
Right? Yes, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And the cool thing is, I noticed this looking at it. They did a very awesome biopic, real life story trip. He's playing a Silvertone just like this. There is a 1958 Silvertone. This is a 56, 57. I don't remember. This is a gift my grandmother got from my grandfather the year after their 1-year anniversary. Oh, wow. But if you watch it. He's in 1953. He's playing a Silvertone, which is a Sears-made guitar, same exact one. But they do a cool trope where every time he gets bigger, just like in all those biopic movies, he gets a nicer and nicer instrument. Which I really love the attention to detail because that's the kind of stuff people don't realize that, like, when you make more money, you can buy better stuff. You can afford better
Right.
stuff. And like, what a great little thing to notice, because this was a at the time like a $35 guitar in 19, which is not super cheap, but wasn't the most
No.
expensive brand. You know what I mean? But it's the idea
Right.
of that which I love. And I love the whole, like, he's the reason the people start to dance and like expose themselves, and they're
by the way, what a great what would you call that? Like what a great commentary on the way people reacted to like Elvis songs and songs back then, like the Beatles, I Want to Hold Your Hand and stuff like that, like just like people,
we know what you
like
mean.
It's like, like just like absolutely losing their shit, and just upping the, like, dialing all of the reaction up to 11, to where it was like it made people sexually aroused. Made
It's
that
so
one
good.
guy blow chunks in his hand. The guy punches the priest and everything like that. It's just like that's what the way people. It's like a commentary on the way people react to when music kind of shifts.
Oh yeah,
of
course.
And it's every time. It's just. I mean, it's just now happening with the fucking
halftime
Super
show.
Bowl. People are like all the
what is
the white
this?
people are like, what's going on? Who's this Kendrick?
A genre of
stuff like
music
that,
mind you, has been around for 50 years. The first rap record was around 75 to 78. It is not a new thing. Like, this is not a genre of music that is new, And the fact they're like, I don't understand it, therefore it's bad. That's just
it's just like
same
everything.
mentality. God bless. I love that, and I love that he sees his future wife in the crowd, Edith, who is 12 years old.
That was, by the way, they don't mention how old they are until like after the song, and there's the angry mob outside of the house, like wanting to like burn him because he plays the devil's music about holding hands. But just the reveal and the comedic timing, and again, oh my God, played brilliantly, of course. Hold on, here we go.
Kristen Wiig.
It's Kristen Wiig, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Kristen Wiig. But what makes
I remember
it so
watching
good,
this movie in 2005, not knowing who anyone was, and now watching it, going like, this is just star-studded. This whole thing.
Oh my God!
Like,
yes,
it is so jam-packed, full of big stars and stuff like that. And
it's
like,
amazing.
But like that. I'm 14 years old and I'm gonna leave this house or something. And like, it's just like, I'm Dewey's 12-year-old girlfriend.
Yeah, so that's the bit they keep doing, is like, they always say the age after something significant happens, and he's like, and I'm Dewey's 12-year-old girl. That was a good line. I love Devil Spawn. I just love how absurd that is.
You know who has hands? The devil, and he uses them for holding.
Oh man. Another good one was the club scene where Dewey is, he obviously moves out of his parents' house and he goes and works in the Black Knight Club, and obviously it's the point. But people come here to dance erotically. It's always, and then
they expect a clean floor while they do it.
And they're picking up each other, and they're like putting their heads in their crotches, and they're shaking their ass. Good. God, it's so funny. I love that
really
part.
It's a commentary how society has viewed a lot of different like genres.
Oh yeah,
that.
It's a play on it, and
absolutely.
there is a raunchiness to, like, you watch those scenes. Like, there's the scene in and it's funny, we've all forgotten the Elvis movie that was huge in 2019, or what was it, 2021, 2021, I think.
Yeah.
See, we've even forgotten about it, but that is a biopic where Elvis is watching. Did you see it? I don't know if did you end up seeing that movie?
I haven't got to see Elvis.
Oh, that's good.
But I'm behind on a lot of biopics. So
there is a inherent thing that happens with these white.
That's
people.
what I was thinking. It was 22. Thank you.
There's this thing of like white people discovering black music, and like the idea that it's happened to me. I didn't really know disco or funk until I was a little bit older, and I really kind of got into it. And there is an awakening with a lot of people. But with that being said, there is a play on it, in this movie where, like, he's the bus boy and he's the one cleaning up the table. He's doing all that. And he's like looking on at the black musicians and he's like, oh my God, to only be one of them one day. And like, that's part of influence. If it wasn't for black musicians doing jazz and rock and early rock and roll, we wouldn't have had the tent poles of Elvis or the Beatles that came and made rock and roll what it is now, because it wouldn't be played because of segregation and civil rights back in the 60s and 50s. So like that was the only way black music would break into it. And that's the only way black music became relevant at the time, was when a white person went and did it. But the whole idea of like his song, and I'm not going to say the lyrics because it could get me canceled, but the lyrics is pretty much everybody loves the man. Yeah, well, and I can't say it.
He sings the song. The whole thing is like the one guy gets like, well, he punches his landlord and gets laryngitis on the same day.
Yes.
So he can't play guitar and he can't sing.
Yeah.
And so Dewey's like, well, I'll just do I know the whole show by heart and I'll do it. And what I do love, and he knows it. And I mean, I will say too, because John C. Reilly, if I'm correct, he is a great singer.
Oh, he's amazing. He recorded all of it. He'd recorded all of this album. That and guitar work.
He has a wonderful voice.
100%.
But the best part of this, you have and again, they're playing on all the tropes. And this, again, some of it might be a little dated and stuff. Absolutely. Because again, this was 2007, you know?
Yeah.
But again, so you have they have the Jewish men in the full, like, just like
Hasidic
Jew. Just like regalia. And by the way, again, this does touch another Bombad topic because Harold Ramis, one of my favorites, has been gone for too long now. He was in quite a few comedy movies towards the end there in the
you texted me and you were like, I forgot. You know?
I forget every time I watch this that he's in it because he's so good. He just disappears. He plays. This is his character's name. Is L'Chaim is his character's name. They all are named his son comes back later and is named Dreidel L'Chaim. It is like, it's intentionally just like absolutely idiotic.
Oh, of course. Well, and then look, to me, I can watch a movie like this and know, and I'm sure other people can too. It's not just an exclusive thing, but you can watch a movie like this and understand that what is happening in here is a play on the times, times and the racism of the times. And you can watch this and accept it. And there's a lot of risque things in here that is very funny. And honestly, comedies, when they're being a little bit more nuanced with it, do a better job at it. And there's some things in here that are very nuanced, and there's some things in here that are not nuanced at all. The one part too, I got to go back to this quote. I forget how funny some of the lines that aren't necessarily good jokes are just funny. He says, I think I'm doing pretty okay for a 15-year-old with a wife and a baby. I was
thinking about that line a minute ago when you were talking.
I love that.
I love that whole conversation, because then she's like, you're always talking about your dreams and stuff. What about my dreams? Like, I can't make you a house of candy. The sun would melt it. It wouldn't work. It's like it would if it never rained.
So beautiful. That's
because
great.
She's still he's 15, so it's like just like a year later. So she's just 13 years old.
Yeah.
In that scene.
With a baby.
It's It's just it's so just over the wall.
Oh, it's amazing.
Stupid.
And then he performs at the club, and then after the club, he gets the record deal. And I didn't realize this. The record company's named Planet Studios, whereas in Memphis it was Sun Studios, where Elvis and all of them got their starts, and Johnny Cash too, because they were all part of that same discovery. And and then they do the great trope of the song was recorded 35 minutes ago, and it's already this number one hit.
Breyer. By the way, no one knew who he was back then. I think he's just been on Conan a couple of times.
That was it. Right? That was it. Yeah, no. Yeah. But I love the play on that, and I love the line where before he records "Walk Hard" is when he says when the studio guy was being the classic studio guy in every movie. Now, if you don't record the greatest song in the world ever made in this moment, you would have wasted my time and Mr. L'Chaim's time. And they go into it, and he goes, and you undoubtedly took my faith in Judaism away. And like, you proven
he's like, you have shaken my faith in the Jewish people.
and the Jewish people.
Says, then he goes, sir, I would love nothing more than to restore your faith in Judaism right now.
Yes, you said it perfect, word for word. Oh, it's so good. So one fun bit too that I didn't know if you knew, all of the interaction between Dewey and his band, all improv. Those parts were not written because all those guys in the band, I forget their names, but all those guys in the band.
I'm trying to think. Chris Parnell is one of them.
Oh yeah, Chris Parnell, but also the guy from The Mandalorian, Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows is the drummer. And then, oh my goodness, who's the? But no, anyway, please keep going.
They're all improv. They're all improv guys. So they just didn't even write. There was some scripted lines, but not all the lines were scripted for their scenes, and they were inherently funnier that way. You know, I love any show that movie can admit it, and I watch the behind the scenes of this, and they go into a lot of the bits that work really well. But that in particular works for me. The fact that you can get these improv guys and have them able to work really well together and bounce off each other, because the whole thing is so great as it builds. They have a great relationship. Right. They don't know each other at first, then they play together, and it gets better and better and better, and then of course it goes worse and worse and worse. But the whole bit of them making the #1 record, and then he instantly gets a new house. It's great. It does everything those biopics done.
By the way, Matt Besser is the bass player.
Bassist, yeah. They do all those things what biopic does, but they do it in a way that happens way faster. Whereas a biopic, that would have been, to this point, it would have been the first, 35 minutes of a movie, where it's like the first 15 minutes of this movie. I love it. You can get through so much more so quickly in such a dramatic way. But I love the first thing he buys, aside from the house, is the chimp and the giraffe. So good, so good. He
didn't even buy the giraffe. He says I played a circus and they were gonna give me like $5,000. I said, no, you're not. You're gonna give me that giraffe right there. You know what? They did.
So did you notice this? I noticed a visual Easter egg. Do you know why he wanted the giraffe? Do you know the story why? Whenever Nate is welding in that scene on the hay, because that's one big part, is he's welding in one barn.
He makes a giraffe.
So I thought that was really kind of cool. I thought that was really kind of a brilliant.
That is cool. I did notice that. Notice that.
He wanted to. I guess he wanted to channel his brother by owning the giraffe. But the monkey made me laugh every time, without a doubt, when he's talking and fussing at the monkey. Oh my God.
The monkey comes back a couple of times throughout the film. The monkey comes back at the end. There's like a part at the end where he looks out in the crowd and he sees his old wife as an old woman. And then he looks out and he sees the monkey with an old woman wig on sitting in the crowd. Like,
oh my God. So in the deleted scene too, when he's having his rehab fit in the deleted scene, the monkey comes and visits him. I don't know if you know that there is a scene. The monkey stands over and looks at him. Oh my God. I love this movie. Because obviously we all know Michael Jackson had Bubbles. You know, that was Michael Jackson's monkey.
Right.
When he became famous, he had a chimp that I don't know if Bubbles is still alive. I don't think he is. But from that scene, they go to the pivotal, this is where he becomes a breakout star. He goes from being he has the #1 record in the world. They have the fine house, but he goes to the theater tour, and he's talking to Frankie Muniz, man. And Frankie Muniz is going to be playing.
By the way, Frankie Muniz is the height of his power. At the height of his
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
He done Big Fat Liar like a couple years before or something, right? Yeah. He was
still fresh. Still fresh. But he was. But I love.
Now he's just a humble NASCAR driver.
Yes. Oh, that is true, isn't it?
Or it's an Indy. I think he's an Indy driver, actually. I don't know. He drives race cars now. I don't know if he's NASCAR or anyway.
I just love
Buddy Holly. And that was great too, because there is that scene in Walk the Line where he's playing with he's playing shows with all these big names and stuff like that. Roy Orbison is there.
Yes.
And then he is upstairs and he's talking to someone and they turn around and mention something about Flapdrax or something. It's clearly Elvis or something. And in this one, it's just like a bunch of people just straight up name dropping themselves and stuff like that. Like I think it's like it's like Jerry Lee Lewis out there on stage, and he's talking to Buddy Holly. Gee, Buddy Holly. They say I counted this stuff. They say Buddy Holly. They each say Buddy Holly. Like it's 3 times. Like so he says Buddy Holly, and Buddy Holly says his name, me, Buddy Holly, like twice.
The best one though, and it's my favorite musician ever, is Jack White as Elvis. And this is like White Stripes era Jack White.
I forgot that was Jack White.
Yes, I
That's
know,
insane.
right?
Yeah.
So like it's Jack White, you like literally like at the height of the White Stripes. This is like right after Seven Nation Army, right before Icky Thump and all those songs came out. And it's like right before they broke up, and it's just him, and he's the and he's doing the whole
look out, man.
Look out, man. I gotcha. There's only 2 things.
Yeah.
What is it, Jerry? What is the line? There's only 2.
There's only 2 people who know it: the Chinese and the king. One's me. Come on, man. And then he starts like talking. That's the line that I end up like sending to you the most. By the way,
yes.
I just go like, or I love doing this. Like, also, this is a great gift to send to someone. I mean, no one's on Twitter anymore, I suppose.
No.
But if like you ever encounter like a troll or someone just like saying something, you could always send Dewey Cox saying, "The fuck was he talking about?"
That's such a good line. It's such a good line.
It's such a great delivery.
It's the sharpness
delivery
of his eyes.
Yeah, he's like legitimately like, the fuck was he talking
about? Man, and it's so funny. This movie, I did not realize how it's a tight hour and 35 minutes. I always thought that it was a little bit longer, but I mean, they don't hold back. But I love Life Without You. We didn't talk about this. The music is phenomenal in this movie. Oh my God. Life Without You is my favorite.
A lot of these, if you listen to them without the pictures of what's going on screen, they're legitimately decent songs.
Oh
like
my God.
They're all good. They're great parody songs, and especially, but a lot of these are written to sound like real songs, and what's happening on screen is what the joke is while the song is happening.
Yeah. Like this one in particular.
I just burped.
I did too. The chorus is life without you is no life at all. Like it's a beautiful line.
It's a beautiful song.
A beautiful melody. And like, oh my darling.
And again, John C. Reilly has a beautiful voice. He has the voice of an angel.
I have a perfect wife. You are I have a perfect life. You are my perfect wife.
Scotty sings this to Katie like every morning when he wakes up. Yeah.
It's like such a beautiful song. They had no reason to be that good.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. And
absolutely, it's ungodly.
Well, that's the scene too. After he goes, what are y'all doing in here? Walks in the bathroom. We're smoking reefers.
So this is probably, I think, the most famous thing that this was like the big joke that everyone loved. They were like, we're smoking reefers. They said, whoa, what's that? And the whole back and forth of like, I don't want to get I don't want a hangover. He's like, it doesn't give you a hangover. He's like, well, I don't want to get addicted. It's non-habit forming. And they're like, what is it? He says like, I don't know,
well, it isn't.
I don't want to be. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sex. He says about sex. He's like, it's like, well,
it makes sex
even better. Yeah,
it makes sex even better.
And then he goes, and he goes, well, is it? He goes, well, it must be expensive. He goes, it's the cheapest shit there is. That's my favorite line. But he says, well, the best part, the transition was, we're smoking reefers. Can't you smell it? And his beat is so, probably the best line delivery. He goes, no, Sam, I can't. So funny.
Did we even mention the fact that he goes smell blind because he killed his brother? We didn't even mention that. That's like the whole, Mama, I can't smell. He goes, it's funny because the kid, who is great, goes, I can't smell anything. And Margot Martindale just goes, you can't smell blind, son.
What's so good about Smell Blind is that it's, I guess maybe in some way real, but it's being called Smell Blind is so funny. And that the whole entire idea of like someone going smell blind is just Because
It should be like a word like "sment" or something, or like "I'm
all
smelt."
these
Okay,
all
I'm all
these
smelt
huge
out.
musicians go through some sort of like
Right.
trauma, and it's like an underlying thing that no one wants to acknowledge. But smell blind, it's just it's so good. I love that.
It's the funniest one. It's the funniest one because
Funniest
it's the
one.
one that like does the least damage
Yes.
to your regular life, right? Like
Yes.
it's like you can still hear, you can still see, you can still taste. It's fine,
Go on,
Although
smell
his taste
blind.
is probably fucked up if he can't smell. I'm gonna say
Oh my
it's just
God.
that's just one of those things.
I'm smell blind. Oh God, that was a good one. I love of course your favorite, the one that you used to quote to me all the time. Dewey, have you seen my sandals?
Oh my God.
That
That comes
always
after
shocks me.
that comes after this scene where they're like getting high and stuff like that. Yeah,
He's on the
just like
phone,
he's on the phone to his wife.
yeah,
And just like in a room full of naked people. And just the humor in it to me is just like he's again talking to his wife just about like the most like again, this sounds horrific. This sounds horrific.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that, but like he's talking to his wife, about like, like just like the most like mundane things. It's like, oh yeah, okay,
Tour's
like,
going
we have to go-
okay.
Yeah. And just you have them walk up and be like, hey Dewey, you want
Coffee?
You want a water or something? Or we want coffee? It's like, no, I get that's just my roadie and stuff. Then just that he walks up and you have just the full like a full cock and balls just right in his face. Just like right there. Just full on. Just the audacity of just like full on, just like full frontal, just like you don't see this dude's face, which is even funny.
No, you do in the next scene. You do the next scene.
Right. But you just see his like you just see his bits.
Yeah, it's right there.
At face level with John C. Reilly. He goes, hey Dewey, have you seen my flip-flops? Is like it's the funniest thing you could say while naked, standing at about like that height with someone. I don't know. I can't explain it. That's the funniest thing. Have you seen my sandal? Have you seen my flip-flop?
Well, what's funny too is whenever his dad comes and tells him his mom died, the first thing they open the door and the girls, the naked girls come out and you see their boobs, you see everything, you see all of it. And then that guy like this is the exact way it's framed. Like look at my screen. He walks and he's like,
yeah. Watch it. It's got leave your pants on though. Everyone just kind of like hovers into the frame just to like look out the door.
And then what happens is his dad goes and looks down and it cuts back to him. It's just like, I mean, I don't know. I love how crass it is. It's so crass, man.
This is one of those. It's a great raunchy comedy. It's a great raunchy comedy, and and again, like it is. I don't know, man. It really plays on those big tropes, like you're saying. Like that was playing. It's it's the party lifestyle he's starting to get a taste of, and things like that.
Touring, yeah.
By the way, and you mentioned he comes there to tell him that his mom had passed away, right?
Because she
but
falls out the window.
How she dies is the
absurd.
Funniest stupid thing ever. Like dancing to his song, gets caught in the cord, falls out the window, still alive. But the radio crushes her head.
Boom, kills her.
What's funny is that he's starting to come around on the music, like this is kind of catchy, kind of dancing around. It's
perhaps I've been too hard on him, and then he gets killed.
Then like it's I don't know, stupid, idiotic. I love it. I love it.
So of course they go and have cocaine in the bathroom after that, and then I love that Dewey makes punk rock. I just love that. It's like the MC5 era, and the punk rock's super fast, and they're like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, like
you're some sort of punk.
You don't want any of this. You don't want any of this, Dewey. What's it do? It turns all your bad feelings into good feelings.
Good feelings. And then the best says, "Whose band is this? Wait, mess it up. Whose band is this anyway? You cocksucker." I love that line. He screams at the guitarist. He's like, "I'm so sorry. I've been really going through it." Oh God, man. Then he
the
meets
only kind of person standing up there yelling like some kind of punk.
Yeah. And then he meets Darlene. That's it. His future backup singer, and everything changes. Oh my God.
Beasley.
Because that's the same. It's kind of the same as what happens with the Carter family, right? When June Carter comes in.
It's June Carter and stuff. That is exactly that's the whole parody with that. It's the woman who is in that same field as you, who kind of, like you end up falling in love with, like that like kind of sideways, that reluctant romance, like forbidden love kind of thing.
And the whole build up to them finally getting double married is just so funny. Of like we should sleep in the same bunk, and like the next shot is them lip to lip.
So the best song in this movie, my favorite song sequence is "Let's Duet" and stuff, which is a great every single line is like what is it, like just like every line is a double entendre. It's just like
the opening line is you have I gotta look
in my dreams you're in my it's here it is. It's in my dreams you're blowing me some kisses. But they have but which was very popular in the country music of the time, like that rhythm of ba 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 ba. It's the joke so damn well. And every one of them's good. It's like going down in history.
I got to pull it up.
You got them pulled up there. You're gonna read them. Okay.
I'll read.
If everyone's enjoying me and Scotty talk about one of our favorite comedies that is probably horrific to most of you. So
in my dreams, you're blowing me some kisses. That's one of my
favorite things to do.
I'll sing you. Did you see the next line? You and I could go down in history.
That's what I'm praying we're gonna do, or something like that.
Then it's let's do it.
Let's do it in ways that make us feel good. And then you have while they're singing this song, it shows them singing the song together, having great chemistry on stage, which again is like the June Carter and Johnny Cash like kind of thing. But they're like riding horses. My favorite is when they're like, for some reason, like doing carpentry.
Yes.
And she's like sawing something and he's like hammering, just like looking at her like that. And then he's like sanding down like a chair leg or something.
Dude, that's great. The other one I love is the horses, and they're both like,
well, they're like,
no, the other one of my favorite lines is I'm going to beat off all my demons.
My demons. That's what loving Jesus is all about, or something. My favorite, one of my favorites, or my second favorite, is the last one, which is horrific. It is horrific, but it is like here I come sneaking up behind you.
Yes.
You can always come in my back door.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Which is stupid. It's stupid. But just again, you just have that that whole that tension so on and off and stuff like that. Is it during the song? Or is it after or before, where they go to I think it might be.
It's after. It's right after.
It's okay. I'm skipping ahead to when he's when he's going through rehab, and she's like, but the kiss where they're like, where it's making fun of the thing where they're like pulling back, getting so close and pulling back. They do that 10 times, in that scene.
Yeah.
But just that whole sexual tension is so good. It's such a great parody of sexual tension.
I love the harmony at the end where they go, let's do it. And ways make us feel, let's do it. Make that sacred sound. And then I love put two and two together. Perfect harmony we found. We know it's only natural. Of course it's only natural. God only knows it's natural. Let's do it. It's so good. It's so ridiculous.
But then they decide, you have them riding the horses, but that's the next one where he, by the way, it's a great scene where he's he sees the machete and he freaks out. She's like, what's wrong? Yes. He says, have you ever thought about what would happen if you killed something that you love with a machete? Oh, dear God, no.
No.
He's like, yeah, me either. Yeah.
Yeah, me either. No, the great sync bit, whenever whenever oh no, I'm sorry, I skipped the part. Whenever they finally get married, and Katie's favorite part is the double married part. That shit is
The double
so
is that? Do
funny.
they sing the "Darling" song? Like it's supposed to be "Darling," but like the way he sings it so fast, it sounds like because her name's Darlene.
Yeah.
Darling, darling, I'm in love with you. I wanna run away with you. Kind of stuff. It's just
yeah, no, that
again
happens. I think right after.
brilliantly written parody songs that just sound like real songs.
God, it's perfect. I just love the when they finally get married and he's at the
double
doorway.
married is so good.
He's at the doorway. He goes, "I'm ready for sex." I just
You hear the toilet flush first. You hear the toilet flush first. He goes, "I'm ready for sex." So good. Then the part that gets me is that when he comes and he starts stamping like a horse, like a Clydesdale, and she's like, "Oh."
I'm ready for sex. Oh man, of course, then he realizes getting double married is not legal. And then I love when Jenna Fisher's like, well, it's gotta look like what she said. It's like, it's not supposed to look that way, honey. And it's like, well, it's only gonna look one way, it's gotta look some way to somebody.
One of us has got to look the right way to one of us.
It's so freaking funny. And then of course the sink bit, which is my favorite bit. That bit
which is again,
yes.
that is definitely parodying. It is parodying Walk the Line, because when he first tries to, like, let's be honest, in the movie it feels like he's forcing himself on June Carter. It felt very, the whole thing, like when he like does like the proposal at the end and like forces her to like say yes in front of the crowd. I was a little uncomfortable by the end of it. I was like, wow, this is not aged well. But
I think that's the point.
That's the whole thing. Yeah. But he gets rejected the first time or something, and I think he might have been like a little like kind of like he goes and like basically rips his dressing room apart.
That was it.
And he for real rips a sink off the wall. He for real rips a sink. Like he like throws stuff, and then like he Joaquin Phoenix rips a sink off the goddamn wall.
That's amazing.
And they took that and made it a running gag.
So good.
Every time something bad happens to Dewey Cox or something he don't like, he goes and he rips a sink off a wall. And there's like that at the end when he's singing "It's a Heart," a Beautiful Life or a Beautiful Ride.
Oh, he sees like a whole
into that one bathroom. There's a whole row of sinks, and he just starts pulling them off the wall. I don't know, man. It's brilliant.
Bit.
It's brilliant.
And I love when he's yelling at the monkey on the tour bus. All you care about is fruit and touching yourself. Fuck you. And then he walks away. That shit made me, because his bandmates are like, I think something's changing in Dewey. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Screaming at the chimp.
He's screaming at the chimp. Yeah, no, it's like right after he like leaves his wife. Yeah, she leaves with the kids. That's the whole thing too. It's like the whole movie doesn't want anything to do with his kids until the very end.
It's kind of
for
cool.
real.
Yeah,
it's funny. It's in a funny way. I mean, like just like you take the children, but you leave me the monkey. You leave me my monkey.
And then, so I love that it does do all the tropes of like leaves the kids. He has a numerous amount of kids. By the end of it, do you know the number? He's got a ton of. So I did the number. Because you did the math. 39 kids. He has 39 kids. And they're all like plays on Dewey. They're like Dewey Jr., Little Dewey, Dewey Rahim. He had a little Indian shot.
Dewey Rahim at the very end was great. Yeah.
Oh man. I'm so lost in my notes now. God, I love this movie so much. Then they have the Beatles moment where he goes to India.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What a star-studded way to cast
dude.
the Beatles. Way to cast the Beatles, man.
Jack Black, Paul Rudd, who's the guy from American Pie? Hold
on here. I'll get it pulled back up. But keep going. No,
well, that scene is just great, and the guy that plays Ringo, and they all nail those Beatles impressions because it's all the.
So it's Jason Schwartzman.
Yes.
Jason Schwartzman, Jack Black. So Jason Schwartzman is Ringo. Jack Black is Paul McCartney.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Long is
George Harrison. He's George Harrison.
George Harrison.
Yeah,
and then Paul Rudd is is
John Lennon.
is John Lennon. And I love that they basically you have them like. And by the way, I love that Paul Rudd's John Lennon sounds really good, but it also gets more ridiculous as he goes.
Yes,
like
yes.
a great when he says great record, it sounds like he's saying the R's as L's. Great record, great record.
His mouth doesn't move at all. He's like great
Great record.
That is amazing. The whole
Imagine.
the oh yeah, he looks at the camera. Imagine. I love George Harrison. It's like my guitar is whimpering, or said something really stupid. He's holding this guitar.
One of your songs will still be shit when I'm 64.
So my favorite line too is whenever the Maharishi, the guru, the Indian guru, and he goes, "Beatles, please stop fighting here in India." That shit makes me laugh so hard because it's so there's just no. It's the same thing of the like I'm Buddy Holly thing. Or, you know, like I'm 12 years old, I'm Dewey's 12-year-old. It's so unnecessary, but it's so funny. Beatles, please stop fighting here in India. I just, no one would speak like that. Not a person would speak like that.
I think we're witnessing a rift forming in the Beatles.
Beatles.
They say, yeah.
Then the other
take some LSD.
Yes, LSD, Dewey. And then he goes and asks his wife. He's like, I gotta go. He does that whole thing, and then she goes, "Well, I don't want no demons to awaken you." And his line is, "I ain't got no demons gonna get woke." I always thought there's like a rhythm to that line that's so complex. I ain't got no demons gonna get woke. It's so good. And he loses his mind. He does. So what that's a play on, and we haven't seen a good biopic of this. That's a play on the Beach Boys with Brian Wilson. Because Brian Wilson, when he experimented with drugs, he like the Beatles went from being like a surf rock happy band to being like the wall of sound, you know. You know, like Wouldn't It Be Nice is a great example. Good Vibrations is an example of like the psychedelics actually changing how music changed everything, you know. And I love when he's fussing at his band and they're recording the Aboriginal people playing like all the instruments, and then you've got
like first you have it where like he goes, his agent comes to visit him, right, and stuff. Who is
he's jumping on the trampoline.
Who is it play? It's played by the guy who plays Bernard in the Santa Claus.
Oh yeah,
I forget his name, but like. Just like he's been on the trampoline for 2 days, is what she says, which is great. Jumping. But then, like, that he's got that big song and stuff. And I'll be honest, I love just dumb like wall of sound.
Oh yeah, of course.
Stuff. I love just like stuff that's like trippy as hell.
Yes,
and stuff
and for
like
no
that.
reason.
But I just love them all sitting in there like I think that goat sang more than I have on this song, kind of a thing. Like.
But like they were experimenting with literal pet sounds. That's when the album was named Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys.
Right.
Like, it's so weird. It's
like,
so 60s.
I want 1,500 didgeridoo play. I want an army of didgeridoos.
My favorite is when he's losing his mind. He's like, "You guys just don't understand." And there he goes. Dude, we got to talk to you about this. And they're like talking about how much he's like went off the deep end. And he says, "Not unless you open your mind and learn to play the fucking theremin. Will I have you back in the
learn to play that was the quietness in which he delivers that line, just like you did. Unless you."
That's so funny. They had to have had a ball writing that because that is such a great scene, man.
He goes on the rampage in his underwear and he's like flipping cars and shit because he's like fueled by PCP or something. And he climbs the building and goes, "I'm Zeus. No mortal man can stop me."
Oh my god. Oh, then he has another sink moment. He tears the sink down again.
Oh, he's tearing. Yeah, sinks go down left and right in this movie.
Oh, and then the bassist says before he freaks it, he goes, "And you slept with me, and I've been confused about that for 10 years. I love
Chris
that
Parnell.
line.
Yeah, Chris Parnell does. Yeah, he's so good at that. Chris Parnell is so good at like those like little like almost sniveling like kind of like quiet guy roles and stuff.
Oh my god, man. The best part too is whenever he he ends up doing the whole entire, this is a classic 70s thing where like Johnny Cash even went through this, where they came back and they did like a variety show. That was a bunch of musicians had that moment. Cher, everyone did in the 70s. And I love when he gets the interview with what's her face from Glee with
hold on. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, we are. This is why we host a show, guys. We're great.
We haven't got this excited about
Jane Lynch. Jane Lynch.
And I love. Did you know this? Dewey Cox show airs the same exact time Bombad cast airs, 8 p.m. 8
Thursdays, 8 p.m.
Dewey Cox show, Thursdays, 8 p.m. But I love that he plugs the Thursday nights at 8 p.m. or he says at 8 p.m. after your local news, and then he says it right after shitting on his kids. He's like, I shouldn't be forced custody upon myself. I'm actually in a big legal battle.
He's in a legal battle to lose custody.
Yes.
Right. Which is ridiculous.
Oh my God. Yeah, no. Well, then she goes, well, don't you just stop and smell the roses? And he ends the interview with those. I've got no fucking sense of smell. And then he gets up and walks away.
Then she goes, that would have been nice information to have. That would have been nice information to have. So, yeah. I love that she's like in between the breaks. She's like, I see, you got you hosting another shit show. You must be ready to blow your brains out.
He's like,
she is very good at that shit talking, like, hey, am I right? I love Jane Lynch.
It's so good. Oh God, I want to die. Because there's the next one is my favorite one, when he goes back and confronts his dad, and he of course ends up killing his dad by accident.
With a machete.
Right. But it's the line of I've been with men, women, I've been with men who dress like women and men that look like you. That line made me laugh so hard.
Men that look like
you. Yeah, and then he kills his dad. Which in the end, when they're doing the beautiful ride part, him and his dad play music together at some point.
Right. Which is, I love they shot stuff specifically for that sequence that doesn't have anything to do with anything else.
Oh my God!
This is how me and my friends in college wanted to make movies.
Oh, me too.
Absolutely random, just bullshit that doesn't making fun of the ridiculousness of it. Like, wouldn't it be crazy if they showed stuff that is like, when the hell did that happen? Kind of a thing.
But it's cool because then he goes back and he has this freak out and he tears everything apart and he's crying in his room. And then the little boy comes up. He's like, "Can we play catch?" He's like, "Who are?" And he said it so beautifully. He's like, "Now, if you don't mind me asking, because I frankly don't remember, but what is your name?" And he goes, "Dewey Jr. My friends call me Dewdrop." And he's like, "Wow, we've got some catching up to do, Dewdrop." And they get up and they play catch. And then
it's a sweet moment. It is a sweet moment.
Well, then he's like, "Come on, get happy." And they're cutting all the shots of these kids. Then they got the one Filipino kid, and that shit makes me laugh so hard every time. He's like, "Are you sure you're mine?" And that little kid, that grown Filipino boy, he's like an 18-year-old boy, whatever's like, throwing the ball, throws it back at him, and you never see him again for the rest of the movie.
Are you sure you're mine?
Are you sure you're mine? God bless. 39. He says you've got 22 kids and 15 half kids or whatever, half siblings. Couldn't believe that.
And then like grandchildren 14 as well by the end of it and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, and then what is it after? So that's his road to the recovery.
Redemption.
His road to redemption, where he gets involved with his kids again. Then he has Darlene show back up
at age 50. She says that.
Yeah,
she said, "I'm Darlene." She said something at age 50, and I love
age 50. They're always saying their ages. Yeah, absolutely, which is a great bit. It's a great bit because it is so biopic.
Yeah,
it's very biopic. Yeah,
at age 50, and then of course he's holding her for the first time. He goes, "Did you shampoo your hair?" And then the whole his smell blindness goes away.
His smell is back. He's redeemed.
I love "It's a miracle" when Jenna Fisher yells that, and he picks up the horse shit and he's going, "Oh
yeah,"
and she goes, "Smell that shit, baby." Oh, that always makes Always
shout out to Jenna Fisher, who is like a very underrated like comedic actress. Like she is so fucking good in this movie.
Man.
Like she's good in anything she's like. I don't know. I don't. I'm sure she is still working, obviously.
Oh yeah, obviously.
But I just wish that she was like, I don't know. This was her moment and stuff like that. I just wish she had a little bigger moment and stuff like that. She was just fantastic.
So funny. That one is a great one. And of course we Dewey's now and like I couldn't even tell you, I guess in the 70s or whatever. But like I love that Dewey's wearing a members only jacket because it really does show like the age. He's like a guy, like it was cool in the 80s, now it's the early 2000s, and like it's not cool to wear that anymore. Right. And it is a red members only jacket. You can look, same exact style as the one I got on. And I don't know, I love that shit. And well, Dewey Rahim, he's talking to that little Indian boy. Dewey Rahim is so funny. It's just so unbelievable. They just went every bit of the way. And he's like, yeah, it's been a beautiful ride.
Beautiful. He has that moment like 5 times in the movie. He'll say something and then he'll like, oh, like that's the inspiration for a song. In fact, he does that with his ex-wife instead of like, I'm guilty as charged, which we didn't really talk as much. Guilty as charged. We did. Great song.
Guilty.
But like this is a dark fucking period. Yeah. I love that. I love it. He's like, he's got he's like, she's writing him and he goes, she says something, you having fun, baby? And he goes, huh? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot you were here. It's so funny.
So good.
Oh, he's got the sunglasses and goes, huh? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot you were here.
Yeah, no, beautiful rides because then the next line is watching Little Nutsack's performance. Little Nutsack.
Little Nuts, yeah.
And then he goes, Cox and Little Nutsack. I'm like,
Cox and Little Nutsack, yeah.
There's
a lot of cock. There's a lot of cock jokes.
So good. But then he has a light blue members only jacket when he gets the band back together, which I thought was great. And he opens the door, boom, square across the face, which I thought was awesome. Then he goes and sees his bassist, and he like jumps on him and gives the big sweet hug. And then, of course, he brings the huge bag of weed to Sam.
Well, it's just because when they're breaking up, like that's all that like Tim Meadows brings up. Is like, you never once paid for drugs. And you never once paid for drugs. Yeah. Just
after it's 4 times, he's like, and you never once paid for drugs to end it all. God, it's great. He brings them a whole bag, and they're like, and give a big hug. But then of course you've got the classic tribute concert scene, which like you actually don't see in a lot of these like biopic movies. They don't really go into this part of it.
They don't go that far usually.
It was
they'll sometimes stop at the height of their like good time.
But it also is the product of that era because like tribute concerts weren't a thing in the 90s at all. Very much in early 2000s. Like we're going to give a lifetime achievement award thing, which is a very Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Academy thing, which you don't see as much as you used to, but that was really popular then. I remember that shit. But Jewel, Lyle Lovett, and frickin' Jackson Brown are singing Walk Hard. Unbelievable. Those are just huge musicians. Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. And like the fact that they paid them to do that, amazing. Yeah, I love that. And the girl, the groupies are like, hey, he fucked my grandma, and like, he's so good. He's like, I'm going back to
the hotel with my family. Yes. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening, ladies.
He's crossed. You said he's had his hero's journey, right?
Yes, he has. The Campbellian journey.
Yeah, he's had his Campbellian journey at this point.
No, I love that. And of course the Temptations scene is my absolute
the Temptations.
And they're singing my girl.
Yeah. He walks in. Well, it's like every other before concert scene in the movie where it's like he's always getting hit on. He turns down the sex. And he turns and he gets like, he's like, oh, the Temptations. But then he walks in the room and Tim Meadows is with all these, all these older ladies and stuff. And he's like, what's that? Like, oh, it gives you an erection and stuff like that. And he's like, no, thanks. I don't want any part of this. It's like, did you hear me? It gives you an erection and stuff like that. Like, yeah, like it's just Viagra and stuff like that. So I love that. Exactly.
And it's like, if it lasts more than 4 hours,
but he's learned his lesson.
Call more girls or call more people. I'm like, oh
yeah. If your erection lasts more than 24 hours, call more ladies.
I love that it's Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam giving him the speech at the very end of all people. How'd they get Eddie Vedder, who's like super, influential in that late 90s?
Did you write down all the nicknames they had for him?
Oh, yes, I did. My favorite. These are the two of my favorites. The White Indian made me laugh so hard. And the Giant Midget also made me laugh so hard. Oh my God. I love that 6 people have watched this entire conversation, and it's us nonstop talking about this movie.
You don't have to watch the movie. Actually, go watch it still.
Yes.
But yeah, we've basically just talked about the entire plot of the film. So.
Oh my God. I love that Edith also ends up with like a younger, like Mexican looking guy. Like it's so weird and strange, but he's looking across the crowd and he's like got his arm, like his hair's jet black. He's like got like a torn up black shirt on, like with Edith of all people, and she's like that old frail lady watching her ex-husband perform. Oh my God, man. The Force Ghost scene too. Completely unnecessary. There's a Force Ghost scene. There is a Return of the Jedi scene in this.
There is for real. There's 100%. For real. Yeah, with his brother, his mom, and his dad. And then his agent dies in the he's like grooving and then goes and dies in the crowd. What? And then is like stumbles in with the other ghosts, is like, okay, well, I guess I'm up here now.
We didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about Jonah Hill being one of the greatest cameos in all of this at the height of his career. That is Jonah Hill. Yeah.
Before we found out a little too much about Jonah Hill and how much of an asshole this guy is.
Yes. Man, that was the best when he was like, Dewey, what the fuck? He's like,
he's like, this is what I would look like if I was like, why do you look like that? This is what I would look like if I'd grown up and stuff. It's like, I'd be president by now, kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Force Ghost scene, then all the syncs happen. And you know what? I'm going to say it. I got a little teary eyed because the ending actually is a beautiful ending to this movie where they cut to him old. Then they cut that shot behind him singing to that last crowd that one time. And then it cuts the theater shot. And it's like a really beautifully cut shot. And he's beautiful ride, and he puts his arm out.
Honestly, it's not a bad song.
No, that's a pretty.
It's song. Not. It's a very funny. Again, there's what the humor comes from what is happening on screen. And by the way, we talked about all the random stuff. I love the one scene where it's him and Chris Parnell apparently in a gunfight.
Yes,
Chris Parnell as a human shield.
Yes,
he's got all the squibs going on.
Oh, it's so good.
For no reason.
Oh my God, I love this movie, man. This movie is so good. Yeah, so
this is shaped Scotty and I. You could probably
it really has. So he was 71 years old when he died, from 36 to 2007. So he's 71-year-old man. And there was some other lore that was dropped that I saw in the deleted scenes. Dewey was only in prison for 3 hours. For 3 hours, whenever he was like, I gotta come and save the people back in here. And it's like,
but I don't belong in here.
Yeah. The rehab scene, in one cut of the rehab scene, he's covered in leeches. So, like, I guess toxic therapy, whatever they used to call it, where they would suck the toxins out of your body with leeches. And the other one, this is pretty funny. This is good lore. Ray Charles and Dewey Cox are in the same rehab facility. That is another bit of lore that was dropped.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like if you watch Ray and he's in that rehab scene, and there's a really beautiful scene in Ray where he's in the rehab scene. So you can just think Dewey Cox in that same facility.
Just a couple doors down. Yeah,
going.
I'm so cold. He needs more blankets. I'm so it's like I'm so hot. He needs less blankets. I'm hot and cold at the same time. He needs more blankets and less blankets.
God bless. I love this movie. I talked the whole thing. We spent almost the whole run time of the movie talking about the movie. We've done this before too.
Yeah.
With the Phantom Menace.
And you suckers watched it.
You did. Haha. Jokes on you. Yeah. No, but for real, I love this movie. This movie means the world. Like, this movie is just, it's a special movie. Genuinely. There's not many comedies out there that I can return to as frequently as return to this one. I watch this one at least 3 or 4 times a year. Really. Like, it's such an easy watch.
It's
always makes me laugh.
What am I gonna say? It's a guaranteed laugh. Every time. Every single time. Absolutely.
There's like no mood that I need to be in to put it on. It's one of those ones you just put on. And it's funny. It's great. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. I'm going to highlight this comment from Eli. Paul Rudd as John Lennon is ridiculous. When we
Wow.
know that Scott Lang is the Ringo of the Avengers. I will not stand for this. I will not stand for this Scott Lang slander. No. Scott Lang's a good dad. Okay.
I'm very glad everyone that joined us to talk about Dewey Cox. Jerry and I thought about like what can we talk about differently this week, and this was the one that was like it. Like we gotta talk Dewey Cox, man. We never talked about it before.
Yeah, man.
It's so good.
I'm glad we were able to come here and just we just it's not even a trauma dump. We just comedy dumped.
Well, we text each other when we watch it. We text each other the same bits. Like he was texting me all the things we were talking about just now. Like we texted about it last night.
Yeah, we were
texting. Beautiful.
Again, by the way, interesting double feature for real is Walk the Line and Walk Hard back to back.
I think I have. Hold on, I might have it in this closet. I one time at a thrift store, someone I guess had turned into like AMC gear. And I bought a Walk Hard hat. I can't find it. It really? Does not fit. Yeah, it does not fit well. It does not fit on me at all. I think it's in my mom's house, but it fits terribly on my head. So I never wore it. But
it's
Jerry,
unfortunate, man.
we talked about it. This is great. I gotta go to bed.
We did. And listen again, based on a James Mangold film, who is going to be directing a Star Wars film. And written by John Kasdan's son. So
can't beat it.
You nerds can't complain. This is Star Wars adjacent.
It's all there. And look, another thing too. I haven't mentioned this to Jerry yet because I forgot. Next week I'm at Beta Convention with my students. So no Bombad next week unless Jerry wants to go solo or do something on his own. So you're gonna have to wait.
We'll take a week. Let's take a week.
Let's take
a week off.
Let's take a week.
Get a little sleep. We'll take a week, right?
Let's take a week. We'll take a week.
I don't know what that is.
We'll take a week. That was a guitar pick.
Oh, shit. I thought you actually blew smoke in your mouth for a minute. It was impressive. It's okay. Yeah, unless you want to hear us talk about Tropic Thunder. I'm joking. No.
No, I guess to wrap this whole thing up. I'm gonna do Let's Duet.
Please. Who's singing what part now? Okay,
you're gonna be the girl. You're gonna be the girl.
Okay, I'll be Darlene.
Here we go.
Hey, Mr. Cox.
So it's hold on.
Wait.
Hello, darling.
Hello, Mr. Cox.
You ready to sing one?
I'm always ready.
All right. In my dream, you're blowing me some kisses.
That's one of my favorite things to do.
You and I could go down in history.
That's what I'm praying we're gonna do.
Let's do it in ways that make us feel good. Let's do it with the sacred sound. Put two and two together, perfect harmony we found. We know it's only natural. Let's do it. There we go. Beautiful. I love you, G.
Love you
so much. Everyone watch
new episode of Ionized Bastards out tomorrow. Check it out.
When'd you record?
No. There is the second episode, I believe, tomorrow.
Oh,
right?
Nice. I don't know.
Don't quote me on it. Third episode coming soon. Y'all, thank you again. And why don't we have Mr. Scott Cox Go ahead. What should the wonderful people do?
Oh, it's been a while. Everyone should definitely go out and check out my midichlorian panel. There's a date now. I can tell you there's a date. The date is been revealed. It is August 18th, 3 p.m. JST at the University Stage in Japan. Star Wars Celebration in the Makuhari Messe Convention Center. So get excited for that. More to be coming and revealed. I haven't told anyone this yet. Actually, it's a big secret. There will be a coda at the end of my panel with a big reveal for something. And I haven't even told Jerry. I have kept this. It's a secret amongst everyone. The only person that even knows is probably Katie. There's a coda, which means there's a very interesting ending that I have already have planned and in the works. So get excited for that. But everyone, as always, you should stay Bombad!
Did you say impossible? Pasquale? Only kidding, Jackie. I've changed my tune because I finally thought of a possible dream that we can all share.
What is that? Pasquale?
It's a dream about a world when nobody is poor or sick or hungry.
Oh, now that's a dream we can make come true.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right.
As I point up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind.
I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? A summer's disregard, a broken bottle top,
and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. And that's why I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer.
if you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Oh yeah,
I'm asking him to change his ways.
come on, change. No message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Oh yeah,
I'm asking him to change his ways.
come on, change.
No message could have been any clearer.
If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
Time for us to take a break, but we wouldn't dream of being gone for long. See you in a little bit.